Good morning to you, Store Nation. I don't know what day of week it is. I don't know when this is coming out. I've just done loads and loads of calls from listeners. And one of the big questions was, how did you get in self-storage and how did you find your locations? And that was numerous questions. I think it was 3 times someone asked me that yesterday. And so I'm going to tell you exactly how I found my locations and what got me in self-storage in the first place. So really quickly, what got me in self-storage was I had a betting shop. I think I've told this on the podcast before. I had a betting shop and it was really, really popular, really, really good. When I say it made money, but it wasn't massive money. I used to take home £1,920 a month, but because it was a cash business, it's not like self-storage, it was a cash business. Let's just say that a lot of my lifestyle could be run through that business. So I took home £1,920 and the rest, bits and bobs, use your own imagination. I don't want to get in trouble. I've already had a tax investigation as well for that business. And luckily, everything was above board. Right. So I sold that business to Corals. And the reason I sold that business was I could see a year before that everybody started to bet with a mobile phones. For example, when we used to play football, one of the criteria to find a pub was it had to be near a betting shop. And all of a sudden, that changed. The behavior changed because people could bet on a mobile phone while in the pub. And so I was like, oh, hello a minute. This is bad for me. This is not going to be good. Because if that's surfacing in my friend's behavior, then it's going to surface in other people's behaviors. So I knew straight away that I needed to change. I needed to in order to sell the business, I needed to be more profitable. And so in betting, the way that you look at the business is your revenue, your amount of bets you take, the stakes, and then what percentage profit you are aiming towards. So if you think about it, Ladbrokes, William Hill used to take between 60, back in the day, it used to be like 16% profit. However, Paddy Power, because they give more away, it used to be around about 12%. So 12%, if you were taking 100 quid, you used to make a profit of 12 quid. And so mine at the time was 7%, because I always used to say that, listen, if you're walking down the street and you saw a William Hill's, Paddy Power, and then a Newbet, that was my name of my company, Newbet, then you would automatically go into Ladbrokes or William Hill because you knew them. So there had to be a reason to go into my betting shop. And the way we did it was by offers, more offers. So we used to do like quadruple the odds on Lucky 15s, 6 times the odds on Lucky 63 for one winner. If you're into gambling, you understand what that means. That's not important. But really what it meant was that we used to give far more away. So what I had to do was retract some of the offers because we already had the customer base then, because it was like a community. The idea was that we could beat the big boys by giving it a community feel and giving it offers and spending more on them as customers. We used to have fish and chip Fridays where we used to buy everybody fish and chips, things like that, and we used to, on a Saturday, we used to have buffet banquet Saturday where we used to, it doesn't matter if you were coming to the betting shop or not, it was open for the whole community. And we used to have a massive big spread on that anybody could have any food they want. And people used to come and they used to love it. And we used to put out sandwiches and everything. And so it was a really community feel. But when I knew that I was going to sell in 12 months time, I give myself a year, I had to take away offers. It was a really good lesson for me because I couldn't just take away offers. I had to replace them with different offers. And so it might be, instead of quadruple the odds, it was money back on short-headed losers, which was a better percentage profit bet for us. We didn't give as many things away. And it would, instead of your money back, it might be a free bet, or it might be go on the roulette machine. And so ultimately, we changed it from a 7% profit up to a 12% profit. For an independent, 12% profit isn't too bad at all. And so then I put it on the market. And Corals came in. Some other people came in as well, but Corals were the best by far. There was more than double. They could have bought the betting shop for maybe 200 grand, but we did a deal with, they offered £330,000 first of all. And me being greedy said, I don't know if that's a good enough deal for me. I tell you, can I think about it? And in my head, I'm thinking, fucking get in there, get in there. I always remember the conversation on the phone where they offered me 330. And I thought, yes, I can't believe it. Woohoo! And then I watched, I'm going to have to think about it if that's all right, because we have had other better offers. And so next day, I got in touch with them and said, I appreciate your offer. Thank you very much. We really want to work with you guys, but we have had other offers from smaller bookmakers than you. But because we own the freehold, and they only want to have a leasehold, because we own the freehold, we want to work with a blue chip company like yours, because then the property will be worth more money. However, we've had substantially better offers from other people. Is there anything you can do? And they came back and said, Dean, the only thing we can do is increase it by 15 grand. I was like, get in there, 15 grand extra, come on. And so, yeah, it was brilliant. So we sold it for 345, and it was a seamless transition. And normally in business, by the way, you don't get all your money up front, but because it's with a big boy, I got 345 grand in the bank. Anyway, that was in 2012. That was early 2012. And then I think it was March time. I don't think I got the Cheltenham Festival in. Anyway, so I went on honeymoon in May. Yes, May. I shouldn't be listening to this in that year. And during the time I sold, February to May, I tried my hand at professional gambling, and it wasn't for me. I just get banned from betting shops all the time because when you win, you get banned, and it just wasn't for me. So I was thinking, what am I going to do the rest of my life? Anyway, we went to the airport, everything, we've landed, and we was going to San Francisco, San Diego, Las Vegas, and Hawaii, and all over places. So we had a big car. We had a car. The only trouble is, me being me, I forgot my driving license. Yes, I forgot my driving license. The wife wasn't very happy. The new wife wasn't very happy, mad, because she said that I'm going to have to drive. I've got my driving license. Otherwise, we haven't got a honeymoon. And so she drove until all I was doing was playing Tiger Woods golf when she was on these big freeways. I was loving it. I was getting really good at Tiger Woods golf on my iPad. And then from the corner of my eye, I kept seeing these self-storage. I'm like, holy shit, self-storage. Anyway, it took maybe a day of seeing these things. And I said, Claire, let's go and see one of these. I want to see what it's about. And I was like, this looks a great business model. And then after that, my holiday was basically over because I started Googling places. Just go take a swig of my coffee. Oh, lovely. Oh, Nespresso. Absolutely. I've had a Costa today, but Nespresso is by far and away the best coffee. Anyway, I keep saying anyway. So I started Googling, having a look for land or buildings in Beverley. And there was a building, but then it wasn't good enough. And then I just drove. We went to go and view it when I came back, and it just wasn't right. It didn't have the same feel for it. And then so we came back, and as I was coming back, I saw a plot of land with a big to let sign that wasn't on the internet. I didn't search it or anything. I had a look at it, I thought, perfect. I can fit some containers in here, and we'll see what materializes. We purpose built them, etc. So to answer people's questions, first of all, we was very, very lucky because Beverley had no self-storage. It had one caravan storage come farm kind of thing, which was on the outskirts. But apart from that, didn't have a self-storage. A population of over 30,000 people, quite affluent as well, didn't have a self-storage. Incredible for us. Brilliant. Absolutely. So it was lucky. So that's number one. That's the Beverley site. And I'm going to tell you the new site as well, the actual new site, because we've gone heads of terms and we're solicitors now. And so the second site was Willoughby. And I found that by driving to see my grandma. I was going to see my grandma. It's on the road, Willoughby. And I saw it and I just thought, hang about a minute, that's perfect. And yeah, the rest is history. Got in touch with the landlord. The landlord didn't want, or the agent. The agent said the landlord probably won't work with you because you're a small independent company. This is a 30,000 square foot building with a half an acre outside, and the rent is 150 grand. I was like, 150 grand, holy shit! My rent was at the time it was either 6,000 or 9,000 at the Beverley site. I was like, wow, go big or go home. I mean, in retrospect, it was an absolute crazy decision, absolutely mental, because my business was only making 20 grand a year. Yes, that's right. It was making £20,000 a year because I didn't understand storage. I put containers on there, didn't understand revenue management, didn't understand supply and demand, didn't understand any of that. And fast forward like 10 years, and we're still got the same site with the same amount of units, but it's completely different. It's wonderful, and we haven't added anything. We just added revenue management and knowledge, and now we're making 140 grand, 130 grand a year there. And back then it was only making 20 grand a year, and that's the power of knowledge. If you find a site that doesn't have any revenue management, you can buy it and add value to it. It's superb, and so it was a big step. But the reason I did it is because the Willoughby site is because I was naive. I didn't understand. I mean, it's probably a good job that I didn't have knowledge, because do you know what? The more knowledge, if I'd have had knowledge then, I probably wouldn't have done it because I've been paralyzed with knowledge and fear. But because I was young and stupid, and still I'm older and stupid now, I went for it. And I didn't, it was a really tough time because I didn't understand that when you first, even though saying this out loud is just like, what are you saying, you absolute plonker? I didn't understand that I would have the £150,000 rent, the shop fit, the staffing, and not only that, I had to get rid of all the stuff inside. It was £45,000 it cost me to get rid of everything inside, because there was offices. I had to demolish a lot, and that cost 45 grand. And I just didn't understand I understand how much the capital expenses was. Yeah, that's pretty simple. You get a quote, there's a quote, there's the quote for getting rid of the stuff, demolishing it. There's a quote for the shop fit. Brilliant, understood that. But what I didn't understand was the fact that I would lose money for the first 2-3 years, because your expenses are up here, but your revenue is really, really small, first of all, and it slowly but surely grows. And so the cash flow problem was my biggest hurdle. And luckily I had something else called The Betting Guy. I used to have a podcast there, and I thought, right, okay, how can I make money out of this audience? We used to have 1 million downloads a year. Betfair used to sponsor it. And I thought, right, there's got to be some sort of software. I designed this software, and luckily, within 6 months, I designed this software, and we made six. It was out of necessity. I designed this software, and the software was bloody brilliant. And we did 100 grand in revenue, and it was reoccurring because it was subscription based. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That's a whole new story. I'll talk to anybody about that, because there is still an opportunity in betting, but it went wrong because you live and learn. And unfortunately, I should have got somebody to look at the scripts and the writing, the software, the I don't know, the thing that makes the software, all the code. It wasn't perfect, and then I just couldn't take it going wrong all the time. And so I just shut it down and gave everyone's money back. But it served a purpose. It netted me over 100 grand, which was lovely, and therefore I could use that money to put in the business. And there we are. So that was Willoughby. So that's Beverley done, Willoughby done, Clough Road. How did I see Clough Road? So Clough Road, I always liked Clough Road. My dad always likes Clough Road as well. It's a very, very busy road, and I kept on going down there, and I kept on speaking to the agent and saying, "Look, Mr. Agent, he's called Paul White." And I kept on saying to him, "Listen, I love that bit of land. I love that bit of land. Can you talk to the landlord?" "Dean, he won't talk to you." "Why?" "Because he only deals with Starbucks. He only deals with people like that. He doesn't deal with somebody little as you. You know, no offense, none taken, mate. I understand you." I said, "But is there any way you can just get me in front of him? Can I just have a conversation? Because I hope that I can show him. But I'm not just." I am small at the minute, but I'm not going to be small. And so he's getting Dean at ground level. And I kept on going and going and going. Didn't accept no. And finally, he said, "Dean, he's willing to talk to you." And so we had a Skype call, a Zoom call. And I always remember it. There was, he not just me. I was like with 4 other people on the panel. I was like, holy shit, I'm getting interviewed here. And it was brilliant. Darren was absolutely amazing. And we just got on like a house on fire. And we went for negotiations. It was simple, because he's a good guy. And luckily he believed in me. And I got him. He built me this unit, which is a fantastic looking unit, and it was more through perseverance than anything else. So I always say to people that have a pipeline of places you want to get. I mean, I've been dealing with this landlord in a really beautiful location. If it happens, when it happens, it's a fantastic location, but it's been ongoing. I must have had meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting with the landlord and the agent, and it's just not been always the right time, and nothing moves fast. And by the time we get this deal done, we're talking about starting building soon. By the time this deal gets done, I'll have been talking to him for 4 years. 4 years. And so you've just got to be patient, and you've also got to have the resilience of not stopping and not taking no for an answer. Just being helpful and just keep pushing that door, keep knocking, and eventually something will happen. So that's Clough Road. Now, I'm a bit skeptical about saying this, but the new site is in. I don't know why I'm skeptical as it. The deal's just about done. So the new site is in Mansfield. I said it. It's a beautiful location, absolute beautiful, brilliant location. And again, the reason I got this site was because I'm always on Rightmove, always on different areas, and I just kept on looking, and all of a sudden this site came up. It was a vaccination center, and I was like, holy fucking shitbags. That's exactly what I said. Holy fucking shitbags. This is a perfect location, absolutely perfect. Looked at the demographic, did my due diligence on the self-storage facilities there. And as it happens, one of the self-storage companies that must listen to this podcast, hello, actually did a fake quote of us on the day that I was viewing this property. And they had no idea that I was viewing it, obviously. And they did a fake quote of us, but they put down the real telephone number. So we rang them, and And James rang me back and said, Dean, do you know in Mansfield? I'm like, yes, I do. How? Why? And they're just on a fake quote of us. And I'm like, oh my God, would you believe it? It's fantastic. And yeah, they're full. Somebody else is full. And it's just a great location. And it will outposition everybody. And it's superb, absolutely superb. 20,000 square foot of self-storage gold. Beautiful, fantastic. And it's got a massive big car park as well. It will rival the Clough Road site for position. It is a beautiful site. And so that is site number 4. What's site number 5? Well, I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. There wasn't one I was going to tell you about. But anyway, it's definitely too early. So they're my 4 sites: Beverley, Willoughby, Clough Road, and Mansfield. And it's majority is luck. You've got to be lucky. There's no doubt about it. In life, you have to be lucky. I think I'm very extremely lucky. And you've got to, like, for example, what would have happened if I'd have bought my driving license on the honeymoon? And by the way, I don't know how many people are going to find this interesting. Are you still listening to this podcast at this point? I have no idea, because I can understand that I go on and on and on. Would I have still been in self-storage if I'd have actually had my driving license? Because the reason why I'm in self-storage now is because I was in America and I saw self-storage everywhere. Would that still be the case? Would that still be the point? And I don't know the answer. So first of all, that's a first sign. That's a look. And another thing, by the way, that I don't think I've ever publicly said, I've always had a bad back. Ever since I've been, I've got degenerative disc disorder, and I've had a bad, and by the way, now it's manageable. I can go for runs, I can go for walks. So when I'm standing still, it hurts still, but nowhere near where it was before. I couldn't even walk down the street without stopping. I have to get on my front and do stretches. I used to go to this guy called Mr. Sanguine. I don't know why I was, his name's Norman, but when I was a kid, I called him Mr. I don't know why, Mr. Sanguine. He was a black belt, a dam in karate and stuff. He looked like a little Chinese guy. I don't think he was Chinese, but he was so well versed, well educated, and in meridian lines. It was an alternative medicine, and he used to tell me that he used to see my spirits and stuff, and he used to say, your granddad's here, by the way. I said, my granddad's dead. And he goes, no, yeah, I know he's dead, but he's here with us now. And it used to freak me out, but I used to love talking about it with him. And then he said, your granddad's got a message for you. And he says that you're going to do so well in business, but he didn't say capital intensive, but the where's where like that. He said it's going to cost you a lot of money. So where possible, try to save as much as you can. And he goes, it's going to be partnership with your dad, and you guys are going to do extremely well. And it's something to do with storage. I don't know what type of storage. I can't make out what storage it is. And I was like, I rang my dad straight away and said, Dad, have you ever worked in storage or anything like that? And he goes, no. Anyway, we totally forgot about it. And obviously, when we got our first storage company, my dad said, do you remember when you had that conversation with me about granddad, his dad, telling me that we're going to be in storage and we're going to do well? I was like, yeah, I do. And it's just incredible. Anyway, so I've never mentioned that on the podcast. And maybe that subconscious has always been guiding me down the storage route. And maybe I did remember it, but didn't remember it. And so then it's guided me down there. I don't know. And then obviously Beverley, lucky, because there's no other self-storage in Beverley. So lucky. Willoughby. It just so happens that Hull was the biggest city in the country that I'm going to describe this. It had the least amount of self-storage for a city in the whole country. It was the least populated with self-storage. It had one major self-storage, and that was Armadillo. 1 second. Excuse me. And that was the other side of Hull. This side of Hull, there was nothing at all. And was that, again, lucky? Yes, unbelievably lucky. Beverley had no self-storage. Willoughby, Hull had no self-storage in that area, and only one, a city the size of Hull, over 300,000 population, and only had one indoor site. It's unheard of now. Absolutely unbelievable. And then obviously Clough Road. I don't think that wasn't lucky. That was perseverance. That was never saying no. That was just trying to be a nice person and getting on with people. And so that's that one. And Mansfield, again, is the same, where just perseverance, keep on looking. And for every 100 sites you look at, probably only one's going to come off. But it's that bounce back ability where you just keep on going and think, you know what, I'm going to find one. And eventually you do. Eventually 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 4, 4 becomes 5. And then we've bought that site in Wales, but hopefully it's going through soon. So we bought that site, and was that Was that perseverance? No, that was actually putting money down and getting the country's best acquisition guy to help me and work one-on-one with me and paying X amount of money. I'm not going to say how much because he's told me not to, because he's going to do it more expensive in the future. And that was him explaining how you do things, how you structure deals, and making me understand it more. So that's education, paying for education. So my first 2 sites was definitely luck. And that was the foundation, that luck gave me the foundation into to catapult moving forward. Anyway, I feel like I've been talking about myself a lot here and it makes me feel uncomfortable, but people have been asking me about my self-storage and my journey and how I found my sites. And so I wanted to do a podcast episode about it because I fucking love it. I love talking about self-storage and it is awesome. Oh, my AirPods are running out of battery. Right, guys, girls, love you, appreciate you. And it is Christmas time coming up. It always makes me happy. Right, speak to you soon. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. And in January, I will be doing another chat with Dean where you can have a call with me and 15-minute chat because I've met so many awesome people. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed talking to everybody. It was beautiful. It was awesome. And just getting to know you guys out there and is brilliant. And there's so many people out there that's making this terrific living out of self-storage. It's fantastic. And so many people that want to get in self-storage as well. And like I say, people keep asking me, why am I giving so much information away? Why am I making competition for myself? I don't think I am. I'm actually helping other self-storage owners because we're educated, the uneducated in self-storage. The worst thing possible that you can ever have is uneducated competition. That's the worst thing. If you've got educated competition where they know the demographic, they know the square foot per capita, they know the supply and demand, that is when it's okay to have competition. It's not okay to have, like, for example, now, if somebody else came into Beverley, that would be uneducated competition because they're uneducated and because they don't understand the square foot per capita. It's not saturated, but it's at saturation point. It's perfect the way it is. It works. The free self-storage facilities for the 30,000 population anymore, and it's saturated. So anybody who comes in here is uneducated. And so if it was an educated competition, they wouldn't come to Beverley, they'd look elsewhere. And so that is what, and by the way, if there's only 2 self-storages in Beverley, and somebody else came, that's all right because they're educated, because they understand the demographic, the square foot per capita, they understand the supply and demand, and that's okay. And so that's why I'm doing this podcast. One, because I want other people to have a really, really healthy lifestyle, because it's a great lifestyle business. And also I want people to, I think if you can sort the problem out of finances in life, then a lot of the other, there's health is number 1. That's it. Obviously that's a given. Health is number 1. But number 2, if you can sort your finances out and don't have any financial worries, then it just takes up so much pressure. You can be happy. You can be more present with your kids. You're not as moody. And so if I can help people get to that point of financial freedom, then fucking hell, surely it's a good thing. Surely I'm not just thinking of me. I'm not thinking, I want all the money. And I mean, I want to help other people get to a level of financial freedom as well. And if I help 1 person, 2 people, 10 people, 20 people, whatever, 100 people, 1,000 people, then it doesn't matter as long as I'm putting good out into the universe. So I'm all about, I do think things come back to you. I think I'm extremely lucky because it's what you give. You tend to get it back as well. So I want to help as much people because then ultimately the more I give, the more I get as well. I'm not doing it to get, I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. But also it is educating people. And I had this conversation with Dave Davies, and Dave was like, oh yes, that's a great way of putting it. It's a great way of putting it. So we're not scared of educated competition. We're scared of uneducated competition. So that is why that I'm putting all this information out there, because then it helps people become educated, and therefore it protects you and your business, and it'll protect people coming into the market as well. It protects us all. The more knowledge that people have, the better understanding of the industry, the better for everybody. And we can all live in harmony, and we can all make a lot of money, and we can all service the customers who need us. I'm going to enjoy my coffee. Right. See ya. Love you. Appreciate you. Bye.